Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of our Listen to the Missus podcast from the studios of WSGW Radio in Saginaw, Michigan. I'm Art Lewis.
I'm Ann Williams.
And time racing on toward the Thanksgiving holiday already. Of course, we wouldn't need to use a freezer. We can just take things outside.
Yeah, we've had a first big snowstorm earlier than expected, and we're not the only ones either.
No, that's for sure.
It's been cold across the country.
A lot of things to look at, though, so we might as well get started here. First one, Whole Foods. If you use Whole Foods, and I know there are people that even travel to buy at Whole Foods, they are recalling over 70 different food items due to a listeria concern. The product recall includes items from the salad bar, hot bar, some frozen packaged meals, the wedge Greek salad, General Tso's chicken from the hot bar, frozen salmon dinner, some of the foods. But if you go online and look up Whole Foods recall, too big to read here, but there's a whole list of 70 different items that they are recalling. So if you shop at Whole Foods, it's something you're going to want to know about.
Yeah,
all right?
For sure.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I have a few products here that are new for the season. This one is just for the holiday season. It's Coca-Cola's out with a cinnamon-flavored Coca-Cola.
Ooh.
They have an orange flavor. I think it's on the shelves permanently. I tried that one. Did you try that one?
I have not.
It's an orange-flavored Coca-Cola. It's pretty good. But the cinnamon flavor sounds kind of tasty, too.
Yeah,
I think it might be good. But it became available on November 1st, and it's only available till December 31st. And you can buy it online or in stores. Not sure which stores, but you might want to look for that if that's intriguing to you. Also, Pepperidge Farm has a new holiday cookie. For the first time in more than 10 years, they've added to their cookie lineup. Pepperidge Farm has good cookies, by the way.
Boy, they do.
But this one is a Rockette. They've teamed up with the Rockettes to introduce this cookie. It's a parade of the wooden soldiers. You know, the Rockettes do that during the holidays. So they're rolling out a wooden soldier cookie. It's a cinnamon brown sugar cookie shaped like a toy soldier and, good for the holidays. I think it's only for a limited time. And the third product I have is another holiday-themed one. It is a new cereal, Elf on a Shelf sugar cookie cereal.
Elf
on a Shelf. Yeah, those are popular for decorating during the holidays.
Absolutely.
But Kellogg's is out with that. It's a sugar cookie-flavored cereal. And so I don't know why they call it Elf on the Shelf, but he's on the package.
Why? Because it sells.
Yeah,
That's why.
He's on the package.
Speaking of new products, our friends at Oreo have been busy. When aren't they busy?
Always.
Always. The newest flavors, and this one intrigues me because I love the combination. Chocolate marshmallow Oreos.
Oh, I would, yeah.
And caramel coconut flavors. And they're releasing chocolate marshmallow and caramel coconut flavors in 2020. And apparently they're dropping the chocolatey and caramel-y flavors that they have. So always at work, those folks at Oreos.
Yeah.
Never know what they're going to come up with next.
For sure. I have, since the holidays are coming up, some cooking mistakes to avoid on Thanksgiving. Several of them. And many of them resonated with me. If you've ever hosted Thanksgiving dinner, it can be a little stressful, right? So here's the first thing. Not planning ahead is the number one mistake. You got to plan, especially if you're going to have a large crowd. And I'm always one who kind of underestimates how long things are going to take. And that leads to the second one, or the third one, making dinner too late.
Yeah.
If you kind of have to coordinate all your dishes so they're done at the same time, and it can be tricky. So planning, how you're going to get this all done and where you're going to cook it all. Sometimes, you need more than one oven, and if you don't have one. So it requires really careful planning, especially if there's lots of people.
And we tend to get overambitious.
Oh, that's another one of the...
Oh, is it on the...
That's
really?
another one of the mistakes to avoid. But before that, forgetting the appetizers. In line with sort of occupying people while you're trying to get everything done is making sure you have something out there for them to munch on so they don't get antsy and, So that's one thing. You don't want to serve all hot dishes either. You want to make sure you have, that makes your work easier too.
Oh,
if you have
absolutely.
some things that are raw or whatever, they don't take as long to prepare, and it just makes things easier. Buying the wrong turkey is another one. You want to make sure you have one big enough for all your folks that are coming, if you're going to have turkey. Not everybody has turkey, but it's 1.5 pounds is what's recommended per person at your table. So you want to plan that accordingly. We talked about this last episode too, about stuffing versus dressing.
Yeah.
Many people, I don't know if anybody who's ever gotten sick from it, but there's some controversy about stuffing the turkey and the bacteria, and it might be just easier. You don't want to make people sick.
And it had to do with temperature differences.
Yeah. So to avoid any problems, you might be safer just to make it in the pan and call it dressing, so you
Sure. It's the same
don't run into
thing.
that problem. This list has brining on it. Now, that's not necessary. Not everybody does it. In fact, most people don't do it. But brining is really, you can do a dry brine or a wet brine. It really does create a moisture turkey if you are going to have turkey.
Right.
Makes it more moist. Not cooking the turkey enough.
Oh, yeah.
Use a food thermometer, right?
You'll be able to tell by all your guests rolling on the floor in
Yeah.
pain.
So make sure you have a thermometer to make sure the bird is done. Carving the turkey incorrectly. You don't want to cut it up and make it look crazy.
Well, now, one man's correct is another woman's incorrect.
That's true.
Do you slice vertically down the breast?
Mm-hmm.
Or like the pro chefs do on television, take the whole breast off and then cut it across
Right.
almost like staking it,
There are different ways to do it. But
I
you can look
prefer
up
the-
online like a diagram
Yeah.
of how to do it.
Absolutely.
Or rely on, an old pro male relative who's been doing it for years. And
I just
you know.
rely on a sharp knife and do it my way.
sharp knife helps too.
Yeah.
Also, don't throw out the pan drippings
Oh,
because
no.
those are really good to make gravy with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. Not setting the table ahead of time. You can run in, your food's all done, and then you got to run around and set the table. You want to make sure it's done ahead of time. Get the kids to help, or somebody else who's there to help, or do it, in the morning or something. But don't wait till the last minute because that just holds everything up. Not accepting help. If you've got lots of people in your house,
right.
don't try to do it all yourself. And don't be afraid to ask people for.
Particularly when they say, "Can I help you clean up?"
Exactly. Yeah. And the final one is the one you mentioned, getting too ambitious. Don't try to do everything fancy. Do things you kind of have an idea of how to do. You've cooked before.
Well, stay within your own comfort zone.
in your
yeah.
comfort zone. Don't try to get too gourmet.
Yeah. I have another hint. This one, we do this all the time at home.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, it depends how many people you have over, how many you can do at a time. We preheat our dishes. And we do that because who wants to put hot food on a nice cold plate?
Oh, yeah.
So we put them in the microwave.
Yeah.
Usually 25 seconds a dish, depending what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Comes out warm, not hot, just warm, so that when you put your food on it, you're not dropping the temperature.
That
right
makes
away.
a difference.
Yeah. Here's something else food-wise. If you want your baby to have an opportunity for brain growth, good brain growth, eat nuts.
Really?
Yep. Researchers from the Barcelona Institute for Global Health found that pregnant women who consume a nut-rich diet get all of its heart-healthy benefits, and then some. In their study, which was published in the European Journal of Epidemiology, the team noted that a maternal diet rich in nuts during the first trimester of pregnancy could improve a child's brain development.
Wow.
How about that, huh?
Too late for me, but
So if somebody says nuts to you, you say, thank you very much. Yeah,
Wow.
too late for us. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping it helps my own brain.
yeah, exactly. Well, they're good for you. They're good for us in
Yeah,
general, is
yeah.
what we hear.
And if you like to travel, the folks at Nutella have something for you. They're calling on all people obsessed with Nutella. And that chocolate hazelnut spread is launching a full-blown hotel in Napa Valley where you can eat, sleep, and do all things Nutella. And what do you think they're calling this place?
Nutella Hotel?
Hotella Nutella.
That's pretty good. They already have restaurants. I saw one recently when I was in Chicago.
Well, it's designed to be the perfect place for super fans of Nutella. And the hotel's been designed around it. The wallpaper, everything about it is Nutella.
Taco Bell did something like that recently, didn't they?
They did. Yeah. That was kind of a pop-up. It was temporary. I don't know if this is temporary or if they're building this to be permanent. Hotella Nutella.
Good way to promote
Napa
your
Valley.
product, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I have one more thing here. Modern scholars are at Yale who study, ancient civilizations are trying to recreate recipes from the BC period. 1730 BC is the earliest one. And these are researchers from Yale University's Babylonian collection. And these things are on stone tablets, these recipes.
Oh, really?
And first of all, they have to translate them. And when they've done that, it's been kind of confusing. So chefs that are trying to recreate these recipes have to fill in the gaps because they don't give any measurements or anything.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, here's one. Meat is used. You prepare water. You add fine grained salt, dried barley cakes, onion, Persian salad, and milk. You crush and add leek and garlic. That's the recipe.
So the prepare water, I assume they mean boil it because they're saying add soap, right? That's interesting how you'd interpret that.
Yeah, so they're trying to do that. I'll have to see what they come up with. But.
And one more thing before we go to a recipe. November 16th, that's Saturday, is National Fast Food Day. I didn't even know there was one. But the industry itself will celebrate its mammoth economic impact, and believe me, it's big because globally, fast food generates revenue of more than $570 billion.
I believe that.
That's a ton. $256 billion in the U.S. alone. There are more than 286,000 fast food businesses in the U.S. today. And Merriam-Webster dictionary first recognized the term fast food back in 1951.
Really? That far back?
Yeah, and I don't know what there was back then. But
was McDonald's there around then?
I don't think so.
I forget the year that it started.
No, I'm trying to think when White Castle came along.
Yeah, White Castle might.
But fast food is usually defined as any meal with low preparation time and served to a customer in a packaged form for quick dine-in, take-out, or drive-through. So, happy Fast Food Day.
Yeah. Well, since Thanksgiving is coming up, here's a recipe that was very popular when we were doing our daily show. It's from Gloria Pitzer, who was a lady who has passed away, but was famous for doing kind of copycat recipes on popular foods.
Secret Recipe Detective was her title.
Right, exactly. This is her recipe for make-ahead mashed potatoes, and this goes along with our pre-planning that we talked about for Thanksgiving, because you can make these ahead and have them ready.
And they're good.
Yeah, and they're good and just make life easier for you. So it calls for 7 to 8 large baking potatoes, which you've peeled and cut up into 1-inch cubes, 8 ounces of cream cheese, softened, salt and pepper to taste, parsley and paprika to garnish. You want 4 tablespoons of sour cream and a 1/4 pound of butter or margarine. So what you do is boil the potatoes first, slightly in salted water till they're fork tender. Drain the potatoes and mash them. Then, with an electric mixer on medium, you add the cream cheese, sour cream, mix all till smooth. If you need to, you can add enough milk to make a smooth but not watery mixture. Depends on the texture you like. Spread it into a greased 9 by 13 inch pan or dish. You want to season to taste and then slice the butter into pieces over the top. Sprinkle with parsley and paprika. You want to seal it up with plastic wrap and refrigerate it for up to 2 days. You can do it up to 2 days in advance.
Yeah.
And when you're preparing it, you take it out of the refrigerator an hour before you're going to bake. Bake it at 350 for 25 to 30 minutes or till piping hot, and there you are.
Yeah.
That would be a great way to save time.
We had a number of those make-ahead type recipes in our files, maybe between now and the holidays, between Christmas now and Christmas particularly. Come up with a few of them because it does simplify
Good idea.
holiday cooking. One of our favorites was the make ahead Christmas morning eggs.
Oh, yeah.
They make them ahead.
Yeah, those
So
are
we'll have to get those out and work on them on our future podcasts. But for now, that'll do it for this one. And you can always contact us.
Yeah, you can reach us through Facebook. We have a Listen to the Missus Facebook page. You can also go to our webpage, Listen to the Missus, which is available off WSGW.com. You can email us at ann@WSGW.com for me.
Or Art Lewis, one word, at WSGW.com.
Let us know what you'd like to hear.
And we'll see you the next time on our Listen to the Missus podcast.